Coming up on this episode of NPS Now, several of our high schoolers made a special visit to NATO headquarters. Rosemont students spoke with quarantined students in China. And Norfolk Public Schools recognized Read Across America in a variety of ways. Later in the show, we'll learn more about school social work in our district. All that and more next on NPS Now. Welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. High school students participating in this year's Model NATO Challenge visited NATO's headquarters in Norfolk to learn more about their countries and the work that NATO does. 15 of the 29 NATO countries are represented by Norfolk Public Schools students, along with 5 of the 6 alternates. During this field trip, students learned more about the challenge, got to see a bit of the building, and met with their mentors for the first time. This special opportunity was greatly appreciated by these outstanding students.
All of the people, and they were just very nice and welcoming, and they kind of introduced themselves and talked about what NATO is and what we're doing here, and I'm really excited for the opportunity that I get to experience. It's amazing. I probably will never get this chance again, and it's such a great opportunity, and I'm really excited.
I feel very privileged right now. I'm not going to lie about that. This feels like it's not one of those things that happens all the time, and especially since I'm a 12th grader in high school, it's my last year. I probably won't be able to do this again next year, so maybe like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's really nice.
I'm very proud for them, because if they've been selected, it means that they are very good, and we will provide all the support that they need, of course, because it's challenging also for us to transmit to them our values, our experience, our background. So I think it will be very interesting for both sides, us and them.
8th grade students at the Academy of International Studies at Rosemont had a unique experience of video conferencing with about a dozen students from various cities throughout China. Even though they've been quarantined for over a month due to the coronavirus, these Chinese students sounded positive and optimistic as they spoke from their homes. This amazing event, which was brought to the school through our Norfolk Sister Cities Association, enables students at Rosemont to see firsthand the impact the virus is having on people their own age around the world.
I think because the virus outbreak, and it's not just like a two country, it's an international event. I think it's great for our next generation to have an open discussion about their experience and their vision and how they deal with it. So I think it's a great event.
It's just good for kids to always hear from other students. I think it's very powerful. That's a primary source that they can know and trust and relate to. So anytime that we can bring real life situations to our students and have them connect with other students, that's really a very powerful learning opportunity for them.
It was very informational, and the fact that they were teenagers like us, I understood what they meant by they wanted to stay home, or they wanted to contact their friends instead of just staying home, and wanting to do other stuff than just stay there.
One of the things that I saw that was pretty similar with most of the students was that they were staying happy and optimistic, looking to the bright side and not staying down from what was going on. I thought it was really cool and to be able to interact with people around the world and learn more about how people are taking experiences rather than what the media says, and having a primary source and learning.
Students and staff recognized the accomplishments of Dr. Seuss and the importance of literacy during Read Across America Day. Here's the story.
Norfolk Public Schools celebrated Read Across America by engaging with students and emphasizing the joy of reading. This special day, which is also Dr. Seuss's birthday, was an opportunity to show students that reading can be fun. At Camp Young, 2nd graders from Tanners Creek Elementary enjoyed an outstanding presentation about Dr. Seuss, thanks to a talented guest from Arts for Learning of Virginia.
They're here at Camp Young today, and they learn all about Dr. Seuss. They're going to do some great activities. They learn about his birthday, learn about just him in general. For our kids at Tanners Creek, reading is everything. We love reading. We believe in reading. We are reading.
Oceanair Elementary students had over 30 readers from Central Administration, local news stations, and Norfolk Fire and Rescue visit classrooms to read to students. These enthusiastic guests happily dressed up like the Cat in the Hat and let children know how much they care about them and how much they love reading.
Kids remember this. They connect this to reading, to making reading fun. Reading is not something that people should hate. We wanted to show them reading is so much fun that everybody is willing to put on a stovepipe hat, a bow tie, gloves, and come out and read to you.
We're just trying to inspire a love of reading. One of our goals this year is to increase the number of proficient readers we have in the school division. So this initiative is very, very important to us. And so that's our hope for today, just to inspire kids to read more.
Well, I think that the boys and girls should understand that they're the leaders within the city, all of the volunteers that have come. We love reading too, and reading does not stop while they're in school. So reading is something that is lifelong, and they need to see that it's fun and exciting and that they will be developing a skill that they'll use with them for the rest of their lives.
Lake Taylor High School students got the chance to meet with representatives from approximately 30 colleges and universities, along with opportunities for work-based training and internships at their annual junior night. Those in attendance were able to ask questions about postgraduate education and get information on any scholarships that were available.
Well, I'm looking at different colleges, figuring out different scholarships, seeing what I want to do. I want to prepare myself. I think it will be a good chance. It's never too early, so I just want to get a head start.
I think it's really good because some people don't know about colleges, and they come here, you can get all the information from everybody, and you actually get to explore what college you want to go to. Now that this is here, I know a lot more.
Middle and high school students across Norfolk Public Schools have been competing in the stock market game, thanks to a special grant from Atlantic Union Bank. At Ghent School, teams of 8th graders were given $100,000 to invest in the online game with the hopes of making the most money by the deadline of mid-April. Although the market has been volatile in recent weeks, the students are learning a great deal about investing and enjoying the process.
The market's been in a bit of turmoil, but the kids are looking at their portfolios. They're looking at their different investments in those portfolios and trying to anticipate what they think is going to happen and coming up with a plan for what they want to do with those investments moving forward.
Our team has not been doing very good. We lost a lot of money in a few companies, but in the beginning of the year, or in the beginning of the stock market game, we invested about $100,000 into some stocks, like for example Apple or Microsoft. And the stock market's kind of going crazy, so we've lost a good amount of money.
You never know what the stock market can do, so it can either go up a lot and you can get a lot of money, or it can go down. I learned that you need to invest your money smartly, not spend too much, because if you do, it could go wrong really quickly.
Miss America 2020, Camille Schreier, brought a special message to some 4th and 5th grade girls during her visit to Oceanair Elementary. She spoke with students about winning the Miss Virginia and Miss America pageants and thoroughly enjoyed answering all of their questions. During her presentation, she shared her love of science and encouraged the girls to always be themselves, even if they're different from everyone else.
I like that how she encourages other people to do their best and encourage other people to enjoy science and other things too. I was really shocked that she won that pageant, her competition with science. That's really cool.
I talk about science and the way that it helped me get to this really fun job that I have, but more than anything, my message is of authenticity and being true to who you are, because I very much know that not every girl in the audience will pursue a science career or maybe isn't interested in science. And that's not really the most important thing for me. It's being able to let any young girl in that audience know that it's okay to be yourself and that you can be the weird, kooky scientist and still win Miss America.
Tarrallton Elementary recently celebrated the installation of an all-inclusive, state-of-the-art playground. The interactive equipment allows access for all Tarrallton students and provides a very stimulating experience, both physically and mentally. the school was able to secure the funds for the playground thanks to the City of Norfolk and its own fundraising efforts.
Today was a very big day for Tarrallton Elementary and our community. Today we had our grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony for our brand new playground. We're very proud because this replaces a 50-plus-year-old playground, jungle gym, just metal monkey bars, and it was not inclusive to our special needs children. And so this playground was designed with all children in mind, and we're very excited to be able to open it for our children and the community.
So it was a big community effort. We worked together with the City of Norfolk. We worked with our parents, with the students, the staff members, Ms. Crabtree, and several of our community business partners were all instrumental in really coming together and making this a reality. We couldn't have done it without all their support.
Members of the Richmond Ballet spent time at Coleman Place Elementary teaching students about movement and dance through their Minds in Motion program. Over the course of 2 weeks of rehearsals, students learned about movement and were taught a dance that would be a part of a community show. The goal of the program is not only to expose these students to dance, but also to help them gain valuable self-confidence.
We are doing a program called Minds in Motion. It's a 2-week program that in the end culminates in a community show. The students at first were always a little bit hesitant because we walk in on the first day, we're like, okay, like wiggle around, like follow me, do this. And it's so unlike anything that they've ever done before. So at first some of them are kind of like, who is this lady? Like, what is going on? You know, but then they're getting into it. They're really jamming out. Like, I've had some students that have been more hesitant, but now that we're on like day 7, they're really excited. They're moving with us. So it's really cool to see their progress with the whole program and see them get more comfortable and confident in themselves. My huge thing with Minds in Motion and why I think Minds in Motion is so cool, and my goal for pretty much my whole teaching is just to make kids confident in themselves, because I, as a kid, learned very well through movement, and there's many different ways to learn, and there's many different ways that people can be successful. And so what I think is so cool about coming into schools and helping kids with movement is that it can make them be confident in themselves, and that can just run over into, you know, math or science or whatever, just because we all learn differently, and I want every kid to feel really, really awesome and really confident in themselves.
Coleman Place Elementary students and faculty came together to show some love for those who might be in need. Ms. Suzanne Iddick's first grade class spearheaded an effort to collect supplies for children who have to leave their homes to go into foster care. What started as a goal of 100 items per grade level ballooned to well over a couple thousand items in a week and a half. While helping count the supplies, the students learned lifelong lessons.
I think they now see that they are part of a community. They're part of something other than just a little classroom, and they can see how what they are doing in here can impact others. They feel really good about themselves because they feel like they did something to help other people, and they just, like today they said they just feel kind, and just to see that they're part of something bigger.
Norfolk Public Schools held their 16th annual district-wide science fair at Nauticus on a Saturday in February. Volunteer judges from a variety of backgrounds spoke with students and listened to presentations about the various projects. This year's fair featured over 130 projects from students in grades 3 through 7. Here's a look at this year's district-wide science fair winners. If you have any great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to contact us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Stay tuned for more NPS Now. Welcome back to NPS Now. I have a very special guest with me here today. We have Burney. She's a lead school social worker with Norfolk Public Schools. She's been with the district for 13 years. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you on the show today because the month of March is School Social Work Month, and we just recently celebrated School Social Work Week.
Yes.
So tell me, what is this month about?
This month is about really highlighting our school social workers across the district. We typically celebrate School Social Work Week the first month of March, so we're really, really excited about people knowing more about what we do. And actually the month of March highlights all the social workers within the nation, so we're really, really excited that folks are really hearing about our school social workers in the district.
And a lot of parents may not know we even have school social workers. So what is a school social worker in our schools?
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Tanner. Actually, each school is assigned a school social worker. And our school social worker, the best way I can kind of sum it up, is we are that link between home, school, and community. We are the go-to folks to kind of address whatever those social, emotional, or academic needs a child may have. And really that main goal is to look at anything that may be a barrier to that child's education.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned earlier School Social Work Week, and we just recently celebrated. So what week was that? And then what do you do in the schools to bring awareness to that?
Well, the very first week of March is celebrated as School Social Work Week. And ideally, I ask the social workers to definitely let our administrators know, because not everyone knows that. So it may vary from school to school in terms of what they may do. Sometimes it's recognized in that we have the school announcements. Sometimes we may provide tip sheets to parents to kind of know this is mental health and these are some things that we do within the school. We have some social workers that are really visible, so of course their parents kind of know they hit the ground running. So I think some of the other social workers have been taken out to lunch and just some really nice things to let us know that we're appreciated.
You know, you said they're in every school, so technically how many school social workers do we have?
We technically have 23 full-time school social workers, and we have one part-time employee.
Okay, so those 23, do they split the schools, or how does that work?
Well, it's a very unique situation. I think ideally we would like to have only one school assignment, but with our 23 school social workers, and in order to serve the district, many of our school social workers have at least 2, and some have 3 assignments. So that's really unique in that we have to hit the ground running, and that may look like having 2.5 days per week with each school. And if a crisis should arise, of course, we're going to be available to that school.
So how many do you think we have nationwide?
I thought to myself, nationwide, how many folks are out there really rolling up their sleeves? I think as of 2017, we had about 642,000 across the nation. So that's a lot of folks out there with their sleeves rolled up.
What are some of the issues or concerns that a school social worker might have to deal with our students in the schools?
Well, I think it may vary really from day to day, and if you just kind of look at what's happening now. But I think primarily we deal with issues of truancy. Of course, we may have students, they may have some difficulty with transitioning into the school setting if this is their first time. Maybe we have a preschool child or someone entering kindergarten that has never attended school. I think we also have students, unfortunately, that have dealt with trauma as well as poverty. We've also had children that just need a little extra support. Maybe they just have some test anxiety. Or sometimes we just may have issues in terms of some of those concrete needs, that maybe we have students that are just missing the basic materials that they need in terms of the backpack or transportation needs. So it really varies. Whatever comes about, we try to address best we can.
And so how do you interact with staff? Because you got to have some type of relationship with them to kind of know what's going on with the child.
Well, I think the interaction would be that I think ideally with the school social worker, we want to kind of give that message that it is an open door policy. And what that looks like, that we should always be available, not just with our students that may have disabilities, but for all of our stakeholders. And what that should look like would be our parents, our teachers, our staff, individuals in the community. Even if people want to call outside the district and just say, hey, I'd like to run a consult by you. But what that should look like is that we should be available to all, because we know that we believe that all children can grow and exceed.
Yeah, my next question is definitely, how do you interact with parents?
Well, I think the message that I try to give when encouraged to school social workers is to let our parents know we are that link for you as it relates to the home, school, and community. Mm-hmm. So I think one way that we interact is to have a very quality conversation, that what we do discuss is confidential. Of course, there is some limitations to that depending upon the situation, but typically I think ideally our social workers should be doing home visits in order to kind of meet a parent where they are. I know on occasion parents may request to come into the school. Also, if we have to interview over the phone, if a parent is not available because of their work. But I think it's just meeting people where they are and recognizing that we're not there to judge, but that we're there to have a quality conversation, and that we do have that common goal in place, which would be their child or children.
And this is a lot of work for the school social workers. So are there any community partners that work with us to support our students and parents?
Yes, absolutely. Some of our school social workers actually serve on what we call the Family Assessment Planning Team, and that's located at Norfolk Department of Social Services. And of course, there are a variety of child servicing agencies there. And some of the agencies may look like the Juvenile Court Department, Community Services Board. We also may have the Recreational Department, and some of those other community partners may be our faith-based agencies. Some of our churches actually reach out in terms of a closed closet, or the food banks as well. Of course, we have the private providers may be outpatient therapists or psychiatrists, just a wide variety. And I'm really excited when you ask about our community partners. Our social work department is actually co-hosting with Norfolk State in the fall a regional conference for our school social workers across the region. So it definitely goes way beyond our school department, because we're really reaching out as far as Isle of Wight and Ivor and Hampton, Virginia. So we're really, really excited about that.
That's good. So how can parents ask for support? Say they have some issues with their child. What should they do?
I think a good place to start would be their school counselor. We have a really good partnership with them, and oftentimes they are the gatekeeper, but surely sometimes parents don't have the opportunity to do that. So a good place may be even their child's teacher. Of course, our administrators, maybe even your nurse. Anyone within the school building should be able to be that person. But I would say probably best practice would be that school teacher and or the school counselor. And of course, they can always talk with their school social worker. And each school also has a school psychologist as well.
Wow. So what is the takeaway that you want everyone to know about school social workers?
If I could think of one takeaway, I would say that it's a profession that really is there to provide support as it relates to homeschool and community, and that it really takes a team. And when I think about team, I think about together, everyone achieves more.
That's great concept. And I hope parents learned something today.
Absolutely.
And will reach out.
Thank you.
Especially at this day and age.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS, Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you're having a great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to email us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.